So the first thing I want to bring up is this idea of fighting versus negotiating. It's important to know the difference between the two, because while a lot of people mix them all up, they're very different things, and each of them will bring different results and different different quality to your relationship. So it's important to know why each, what is each, and so you can be aware of what you're actually doing. All right. So first of all, the differences between fighting versus relationship. In fighting, the mindset is one of a win-lose. So one person is fighting to win, meaning the other person has to lose. In negotiating, both parties are trying for a win-win outcome, where everyone wins, where nobody loses. In fighting, it's very emotional. People say things to hurt the other one. They intentionally go out to hurt people. There's a lot of emotions. Anger is one of them. Upset, everything. They all come into play. In negotiating, it's unemotional. We don't try and hurt the other one. We don't end up feeling hurt at the end. And also, too, with fighting, people tend to be, I hate using this word, but I could come up with stubborn. People tend to be stubborn when fighting. They don't allow themselves to be flexible, which is what you are in negotiating. When you negotiate, you are flexible. You are compromising. You are willing to sacrifice things for a win-win outcome. So these are the differences between fighting and negotiating. And it's important to know these differences, to know what it is that you're doing. All right. So if we find ourselves in this situation where we think we're negotiating, but we realize we're actually fighting, this is how to avoid or get out of the fight when you're in that. Be aware of your emotions. If you notice you start to become emotional, that is when things will turn from a negotiation to a fight. Also, focus only on that win-win. And if you notice you're becoming emotional, or you can't focus on a win-win outcome when you're fighting to win your side and the other person loses, what you need to do is stop and take time out. You need to let everything settle, and you need to let yourself come to a place of neutrality and be centered before you can go back in and start negotiating again. You also need to be flexible. So you must be willing to say, okay, well, I can do this if you do this. When we're trying to fight, it's my way or the highway. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to do anything differently. I'm not even going to see a different way. It's just going to be this, and that's not flexible, and that won't lead to a win-win outcome. If you need to, if you're finding it hard to do all this and you constantly keep fighting and you're unable to negotiate, you may need to find an independent third party to act as a mediator. And these people are used a lot, particularly in divorce situations. Divorce situations are rife with fights rather than negotiation. This is why mediators are often used, and even people then use the courts as a mediator to try and make decisions for them. And we know how that turns out. So, as much as possible, if you can negotiate instead of fighting, then it's going to be better for yourself.